Give it up for Bibi LeBlanc.
Welcome back from the intermission. What do you think so far? I'd like to share a story with you tonight too, a story that's very dear to my heart. There are events that characterize the shared history of multiple countries, and they're too important to be forgotten. One such event is the Berlin Airlift in 1948-1949. Good evening, Elevate Daytona. My name is Bibi LeBlanc, and as someone who grew up in West Berlin during the Cold War, I witnessed firsthand the lasting impact of this pivotal chapter when unity and cooperation bridged a divided world. In 1945, at the end of World War II, Germany was defeated. The winning Allied countries, the US, England, France, and the Soviet Union, divided Germany into 4 zones of occupation. This division was supposed to be temporary, but while the Western Allies sought to rebuild the economy and introduce a democratic government, the Soviets wanted to spread communism throughout Western Europe. Berlin, Germany's capital, was located like an island deep inside the Soviet zone. It was also divided, and now referred to as West Berlin and East Berlin. However, the Soviets wanted to dislodge the Western Allies and used threats, propaganda, and other confrontational tactics. On June 24, 1948, in a dramatic effort to put pressure on the West, they cut the power supply, they closed the Autobahn, railroads, and waterways, effectively cutting West Berlin off from the rest of the world. As a result of the blockade, the over 2 million people now faced immense challenges, including severe shortages of supplies needed for their survival. As it was, stocks of food would last no more than 1 month. Rather than yielding to Soviet pressure or escalating to armed tension and risking World War III, the Western Allies opted for an audacious and unprecedented approach to supply the city by air. Airplanes of all types and sizes, military and civilians. No, I'm sorry, backing up. The US and Great Britain launched a massive humanitarian effort to sustain the people of West Berlin, even though few believed it was possible to supply Berlin by air alone. Airplanes of all types and sizes, military and civilian, were called into service for this extensive, intricate, and perilous undertaking. Airplanes were now West Berlin's only link to the outside world. Pilots used 3 air corridors through Soviet-controlled airspace over East Germany to fly in food, coal, and all other supplies the city needed. An airplane took off or landed every 3 minutes. But it was not food that made up the majority of supplies. To keep Berliners warm through the winter and rebuild the economy, the predominant cargo flown was coal, accounting for 65% of total tonnage. Upon landing, the airplanes had to be unloaded quickly. The Allied forces trained Germans to work side by side with them to complete the meticulously orchestrated unloading tasks. Astonishing, don't you think, considering there were fierce enemies only 3 years earlier? One day, a young Air Force pilot from Utah, Lieutenant Gail S. Halverson, talked to some children at the airport fence. Before leaving, he pulled out 2 sticks of gum and watched as the children divided the gum. He promised to bring them more. The next day, Halverson crafted parachutes using his handkerchiefs and attached candy. As he approached the airport in Berlin, he rocked his wings and his crew dropped the candy parachutes. Soon, many other pilots participated. Word got out, and school classes and church groups from across the US assembled candy parachutes for the children of Berlin. The candy drops became a cherished symbol of hope during those dark days. Once representing danger, the airplanes were now symbols of goodwill and friendship, and served as a powerful catalyst for changing the hearts and minds of young and old alike. As 1948 transitioned into 1949, the rumble of the engines in the skies over Berlin continued. Despite all odds and challenges, the airlift persisted, proving the Western Allies could sustain West Berlin indefinitely. Realizing the West was not going to abandon Berlin, the Soviets lifted the blockade on May 12, 1949. After 10 months and 16 days of intense standoff, the end of the blockade marked a pivotal chapter of the Cold War. Despite what most had believed to be impossible, Berlin was sustained by air alone from June 26, 1948 until May 12, 1949, with airplanes landing every 3 minutes, day and night, for almost a year. This story resonates through time and illustrates how communication and cooperation can overcome even the darkest hours of history. Its legacy teaches us when we stand together, we can bridge gaps and turn enmity into friendship. It also serves as a powerful reminder that each of us can show we care with even a small gesture of kindness, just as Gail Halvorsen, the candy pilot, did with 2 sticks of gum. You never know the impact you might have on shaping the world around you. Thank you.